problem with AI discrimination is this technology doesn't exist in a vacuum. It's made by humans, so it comes with all the biases that humans have baked into the code.
The discrimination in AI is not massively different to just discrimination overall. So it's kind of like structural racism as a macro issue kind of infiltrates all the different elements of our society, and AI bias is one of those strands.
The problem with AI discrimination is when artificial intelligence reproduces the biases that exist within the data it's trained with. So what happens quite a lot of the time is that the training data that's fed into a system of artificial intelligence is trained on predominantly white skin tones. And then when that system comes up against someone whose skin tone is slightly darker than that, often it fails to recognize it.
One global study of facial recognition software found that ethnic minorities were 100 times more likely to be misidentified than white people. So we're using this technology without being really aware of the problems it comes with.
A black woman was labelled as a gorilla. It's an important example because it demonstrates, that labelling issues can be biased as well as the technology.
Increasingly, a lot of companies, particularly large companies, are using resume screening tools. One of them that does video screenings, particularly to get through a lot of applicants, analyzes people's facial movements, tics, the ways that they speak, and often then using that information can say whether someone should move on to the next round or not. What that often does is it discriminates against people with various disabilities. So what ends up happening is that these people are passed over, often for things that maybe is out of their control or doesn't even reflect their abilities. So in that context, what often happens is because artificial intelligence and systems along those lines often get viewed as neutral, or because we somehow trust them more than we necessarily trust our own judgment, what maybe ends up happening is that we don't scrutinize the decisions that those systems make maybe as much as we would ourselves or the people around us.
We automatically have included this technology in our lives, and I think it's going to take a long time to even unpick that and realize quite how much information we're giving away and how it might affect underrepresented communities who don't have as loud of a voice in both the creation and the production of this technology.
I do think that the industry is listening. I think that issues around bias call into question the usefulness and the validity of artificial intelligence as a general rule. And so I do think that people are listening to issues around bias and they're trying to take active steps to eradicate it.
I think it's really funny when people talk about, like, why should people study digital course? Because it's kind of like, why should you study, like, English and maths? It's an inherent part of who we are, how our community functions.
It's basically a window, and it gives you independence and agency in the 21st century.
Those skills and the kind of knowledge that you pick up as a result only become more useful as time goes by.
In 5 years' time, I suppose I'd like the AI industry to look like a rave. I'd like it to be full of people of all different colours, all different ages, all different backgrounds. I'd like it to look equal.